Next morning when I got up, it was time to feed all these people I was taking care of. Sadly, I had to stand on Sadie, feed Hadley, and I got them both fed. Decided to muck around with my new chess table a little bit. Hadley seemed to be healing rather well, and that was good. While that was going on, transport pod crashed nearby again. This time it was a hostile. Being that I was still upset, the attacks coming in, the way people behave around here, wasn't in much of a mood to try and save somebody that was hostile to me. I debated it a bit as I sat at my research table. There were already too many mouths to feed around here. Food supplies starting to dwindle. My pemmican wasn't going to last terribly long. But I set up a little spot to put that hostile. And I headed on out, see if I could grab her, get her put back together. It was against my better judgment, but I am trying to be a better human being. So I brought her in, certainly decided not to use any meds on her, but I got her tended. She's cursing at me, telling me she's gonna come back and kill me someday. Apparently she thought I was gonna do something bad to her, wasn't used to being treated nice. I got her tended, had a meal, sat back down to do some research. Still working on getting my beer brewing stuff together. I'd love to figure that out. Sadie was hungry again. I got her fed. Then I fed myself. There were so many people around, I didn't know what to think. As I sat down to research, it occurred to me I was definitely going to need some more meat. I was going to get all these mouths fed. Fortunately, there was a huge herd of deer nearby. I picked a nice buck, gave him the business, and down he went. Didn't take too much effort. I was hauling him in, wondering why I'm putting myself through this for all these other people. And when I got him in, it was time to go back to sleep. I was still sick myself, and it was a lot of work taking care of all these people. You're always feeding them, making extra food. Just an overall busy day. While I was cooking, Sadie got up, took off. She was right happy, I'd been taken care of. And I was happy to have helped her. Periodically, I'd have to stop, treat this disease I was carrying. Hopefully, none of the people I was taking care of would get it. I don't know much about these things. And while I was cooking, some nice meals fell out of the sky. Someone's taking pity on me. Maybe some of the factions one of these people belonged to sending some nice food over. Help get them fed. Reward me for taking care of them. So I ran out. I grabbed all that stir-fry stuff. I was pretty stoked on the idea. Those are going to be delicious. After picking that up, Wolverine said she wanted out and she could walk. So I took her out and let her walk. And off she went. Another person healed right up. As she was walking away, some berries fell out of the sky. Seemed like it was going to be my day. If I could just get over this disease, I'd be a right bit happier. So I had to run out, pick up all them berries. When I got back, I decided to do some cleaning. The place was a pigsty. And after that, I was off to bed once again. Woke up just ravenously hungry and had a right delicious meal of stir fry. I felt rather well fed. I had a little stroll around just to check out the property. Feeling good with a full belly, despite the pain from this injury. Hamlet was running around doing his thing. Such a good dog. Hadley was healing right up, and eating a fair amount of food in the process, I will say. I got all that deer meat cooked up. And then I did some more research, stopping once in a while to do some cleaning. Get myself fed, off to bed. Pretty standard routine was forming around here. I kept feeding Hadley the stir fry. Against my better judgment, I thought maybe it'd make him heal up a bit faster. And it wasn't long before I had finished researching how to do beer brewing. After that, I definitely needed some proper weaponry. I sure was figuring stuff out fast. I was getting to be a pretty smart fella. And I decided to plant a bunch of hops so I could get the beer taken care of. I was right excited as I started planting those hops. I did have to stop for a feed, but wasn't long before it was all planted. And I was working on gunsmithing, making pretty good progress. Still had some cleaning to do. I researched most of the day, went back to bed. My sleep schedule was just a mess with this disease. Hadley was almost fully healed, so that was good. I used the last of my medicine, tended my injuries. As Hadley was fully recovered, and he popped up and took off. He said a nice thank you, but he didn't have anything to give me. While researching, I got word of a stash nearby of a masterwork assault rifle and a button-down shirt made out of some kind of crazy fur. Since I was researching towards gunsmithing, I thought this was a blessing in and of itself. I decided I was going to get some food together, get out on the road and see if I could grab that weapon. I'd take the shirt since it was there, but with that weapon in hand, I wouldn't really need to research all this technology needed to make the gun myself. So that was pretty amazing, actually. So I killed the buck, dragged him in. After that, it was time to relax a little bit. All this thinking and planning makes a guy need to have some fun. After tossing horseshoes, I butchered the deer, cooked some meals, pemmican in this case. That is my choice of food right now. Did some cleaning in the meantime and kept focused on the cooking otherwise till it was time to get off to bed. Despite the fact that it was noon, I went and laid down. I was so tired. When I woke up, there was still a bit of stir fry left, and that was pretty awesome. Got all that food made, sat down to research and decided, you know what? I'm just gonna go get that gun. I didn't take much with me, just some food and a bedroll. That should get me there and back. In good shape, good spirits. Wasn't a whole lot that I needed. Thought about bringing some other guns, but what's the point? Turns out it was only half a day away as well, so that'll work out really well. Maybe I could get there and back before I even had to sleep. I was so excited, I ran around for a minute, freaking out, trying to figure out what to do. Then I grabbed the supplies, and off I went. With the road nearby, it was going to be a right quick journey. And it felt like it just breezed by. It was nice to be out taking a walk. When I got there, I stayed on my toes. This felt like some kind of setup. I crept up on the building, nice and slow, keeping to cover. And sure enough, somebody had set some rabid squirrels to garden this stuff. There was a few of them around. First one came at me, quick as could be. Turns out it doesn't take much to kill a squirrel. The second one came around the building, and I got worried for a second that he was going to get a hold of me. But I caught him with a shot, and that slowed him down pretty good. And then I was able to bring him down. And then I was able to get that weapon. I also took that shirt, decided I was going to wear it because why wouldn't you? Nicer than what I had on. I picked up my existing gear. I didn't want to leave anything behind here. Then I decided to get on out of there before that third squirrel could make its way over. I tried to take one of them squirrels with me. Since that'd be some free meat and fur, I could maybe make something out of it. But as it happens, I end up having to leave one of them behind. Turns out, squirrel weighs a lot. No, in the end, I said forget it. That one's staying. Directed myself back home, started walking. Another quick journey, and I was right back where I belong. Except now, I was well armed, ready to deal with any threat that could come my way. I dropped off all my stuff. Sure was carrying a bunch by now. Had some more stir fry. It was nice to have that around. And then I was off to bed. That was a good day's effort. I felt well fed, slept on a full belly, in my own bed. While sleeping, all the power went out. I could hear some kind of fuzzy buzzing in the air. I don't know, something going on with the sun, seemed to me. The light was weird. I had to run around and gather up medicine after that. I'm not sure the medicine made any real difference in the way this disease was progressing, but if there was any chance that it would help me out, I was willing to do it. I tended myself and did a fairly decent job at it. Not sure what it was going to take to get rid of this disease. I hope it didn't last terribly long. I decided I was getting sick of the mess around here. So I decided to put in floors everywhere. Through my main walk-in area, throughout my freezer. I was laying down, doing some cloud watching, contemplating the fact that it was going to require a bunch more wood. But it wouldn't be too big of a deal. It'd be nice not to be tracking filth around. Had a quick sleep. Got up, had a feed, and then it was time to bring my potatoes in. Another good round of those. I didn't flub nearly as many those harvests as I had in the past, and I was thankful for that. Being more productive is always worthwhile. Time to do a little bit of cooking, just to keep food stocks up before getting back to the floors once again. My freezer floor was almost done. It'd be nice not to be tracking filth into my cook area, my hanging out room. And this helped me get around the base a bit faster as well. I decided to put a door in the back of the freezer, going into the storage room. Periodically, I do have to stop and sleep. And while sleeping, more stir fry fell right out of the sky. Once again, felt like that was a gift from the heavens. Despite the fact that one of my batteries had broken down, I sat around just enjoying the quiet in my eating room before running out to nab that stir fry from one of them giant raccoons that was trying to eat it. He didn't seem to get mad at me, but I did nab that from him and run away quick. After that, my smoke leaf finally came up. I didn't think I was ever going to get this. I got the new stuff planted again so I could get a second harvest. Fix my broken battery. And I decided I was going to finish up these floors before I commit to doing anything with that smoke leaf. Once again, I was going to need a whole slew of wood. So I chopped a bunch of trees down. And that wore me out like nobody's business. So I was right back to bed. While sleeping, a meteorite of jade fell out of the sky. I already had 430 jade sitting around, but I would take it. At some point, I'd make something fancy out of all that and see if I could sell it off. I was running a little low on medicine again, since this disease requires constant tending. It does make a fella run around fast, get stuff done a little quicker, so it isn't all bad. Critter stepped on one of my traps, so I had to deal with him. Got him butchered up. A little bit of free meat, although it is going to cost me some steel to rebuild that darn trap. And I went back to work on them floors. Didn't take long. All my walkways were done. Freezer was done. And it was time to rebuild the trap before heading out. Do some mining. Despite the rain, I was ripping apart that jade pretty quick. I was getting to be quite adept at whatever I wanted to do, and that was nice. I was hauling it back. Hamlet was helping. And when I got back, I decided I was sick of being soaking wet. Had to sleep. And upon waking, shortly after midnight, I decided to play some chess by myself. Which isn't the most enjoyable thing, but it isn't the worst either. Next day, I got the rest of that jade all mined up. And I got the rest of it hauled in along with the help of Hamlet. It's nice to have a little dog helper. Doesn't need as much as you'd expect. While hauling jade, 3 fellas showed up. 2 women, 1 man, coming in here trying to take what I have. But what they didn't know, I had this nice assault rifle, and I knew how to use it. I told Hamlet to stay inside. He was heck bent on getting out there, bringing that jade in for me, but I certainly didn't want the little fella getting himself killed. Those people that came to attack me, I caught up on my traps. 2 of them went down. The 3rd one was running like heck. I was able to catch him though. Gave him the business from behind with that new rifle. I will say, its accuracy was pretty solid relative to what I used to have. I was right mad at this man coming in and attacking me, and I did not feel like taking any pity on him. And so I wasn't. I was just going to let him sit out there, let the animals eat him. He was begging for help too. Man can only do so much. I left him laying and walked away. His cohorts had both passed away on my traps, but they left me some silver, some guns, which is just fine with me. More stuff to sell should somebody come along interested. I did not like seeing those dead bodies laying there. That's for sure. And I also was not happy about the fact that I had to rebuild my traps and dig a few more graves. I was getting sick of digging graves out here, and so I went to bed instead of doing the work. I was gonna make those bodies grosser when I had to deal with them. But that's how it goes, I guess. I was trying to build a trap on top of a dead body. Decided priority should probably be to get these 2 idiots buried. So I switched gears a little bit. Got that done. Sadly, they're too heavy for Hamlet to help out. After they were both in the ground, I was back to working on those traps. There's a whole lot of running around, carrying steel. It might be in my best interest to leave a little bit of steel over here. I did have to do some more mining after that. It felt like there was a little bit of safe stuff I could pull out here, despite the scratching and clawing I could hear under the ground. After mining for a while, I did a bunch more tree chopping, and then I was super stoked to get around to making some joints. Sadly, I made one and then darn near fell asleep on it. Next day, rare thromboids showed up. I'd picked up that name from all the people I'd been having. Had to rebuild another trap due to a rat coming through and setting it off. I wish there was a way to keep those critters out of here. I was doing all kinds of stuff, making joints, eating food, and then I decided I better focus on these joints so I could move on and do something else. Pretty much did that all day before it was time to go lay down again. And the next day, more stir fry was in order. A little bit of cleaning as things were filthy once again. Didn't seem like anything I could do will keep this darn base clean. I had to pick some more medicine. Seemed to be helping out a bit. So I found some just to the south of the base. And I ran right out there to grab it all. Once again, my harvesting skills were certainly improving. After that, it was right back to making joints. And I worked on it until I was all out of smoke leaf. And then I was pretty happy. I sat down to do some research, noticed that my hops were getting darn close to being done. And right about that time, I figured out the secrets to gunsmithing. After that, I decided to work on something significantly more advanced. See if I could figure out microelectronics. I had a book on it sitting here. I started studying and tinkering. Wasn't long, had a little stir fry, went off to bed. Next morning, it was right back to research. I'm sure it wouldn't take another day or so before my hops were ready. I decided to get busy making some fermenting barrels. Hamlet needed a little training at that point too. I got my barrels built, lickety split. And those hops were darn near ready to be plucked. It occurred to me I was also going to need some type of brewing bench. I was keeping myself a little fuzzy-headed, smoking too many joints, but it's the first real relaxation zone out that I've had. Plucked a little bit of them hops. I was off to bed. While sleeping, I'd planned where to put my little brewing bench. When I woke, it was late in the evening. I needed some tending and some food, and I wanted those hops pulled so nothing bad would happen to them. I've seen how that goes around here. So I got them all picked and I got them all planted. I didn't botch a single one. And then I started work on my bench for brewing beer at, which was a great success, before deciding I should chop some more trees so I had a little bit of stockpile of wood around. I got a call from an incapacitated refugee at that point. I decided I was going to have to think about it. This could be another trap. It's really hard to trust people out here. And I was still unsure as I lay down in bed that night. Another item stash quest message came in. Someone said there was something called Luciferium hanging out, which was worth a lot of money, but was a terrible drug to get involved with. I decided I was going to ignore that one. I had my hops all set up. I was working on retrieving all the wood I'd chopped the day before. Periodically, I had to stop, do a little cooking, keep the food stores where they should be, and keep the kitchen clean as well. Having been sick several times, didn't seem worthwhile, just because of a dirty kitchen. And then I jumped right in, started turning those hops into wort. I didn't get as much as I would have liked, and while doing it, crazy buzzing sounds started in my ears and wouldn't go away. Made me a bit crabby. Brewed up all that beer and chopped a little more wood. After that, decided I had plenty of wood on hand for a while. And then I took that beer, that wort, what was going to be beer, got my fermenting barrels set up just fine. And I was pretty stoked about the fact that it wouldn't be terribly long before I'd be enjoying a nice beer I was contemplating that while doing some stargazing. Laying down on a piece of metal slag. Then it was time for more research. Felt like I was making great progress figuring stuff out, and I was getting smarter all the time. Once again, didn't take long. I got so tired I could barely hold my eyes open. And while sleeping, a bunch of outlanders decided to show up. It was 4 people this time. Don't know what I did to attract all this attention, but I sure wasn't happy about it. I let them creep in nice and close. I was gonna have to do something around here. Some additional security, I'd say. Of course, they fell right for my traps, as they typically do. I came out, started shooting away. I caught one fella quick, injured him pretty good. He wasn't moving too fast. I decided to pursue the lady, mostly so she didn't come back. And this gun was so accurate, I felt like I could not miss. Down she went. Then I turned around and gave him the business too. Down he went as well. I will say I was not happy about having to kill all these people, but I will also say I can't be risking my life, my health, because these schmucks want to come in and try and steal from me. I collected up their guns. That's about all they had that was worth anything. While I was doing that, more of them showed up. They must have been setting up something on me here. This time it was 2 of them. They just do not give up. And the worst part about all this, I had to keep on rebuilding all these traps all the time. I was going to have to find a right good bit of steel and get that taken care of. So I had some supplies. These 2 were milling around, being idiots. So I snuck around to see if I could get a leg up on them. They didn't seem too smart. One of them had some grenades in his hand. I was hoping I could take him down before he got to toss one of them at me. He had a nice helmet on too. Down he went, and it was close. He was right about to start tossing those things at me. I made a run at the other person he was with, but she ended up escaping. Which I suppose is fine. Hopefully she'll tell people not to come in here and mess with me. I grabbed those grenades, which was an interesting weapon to be a hold of. I got all those guns put away. I was right hungry by then, having run around doing gun battles all day. Sadly, I was going to have to dig a few more graves. But there was really no way around it. I was getting pretty crabby the whole time, so I decided to smoke a little joint. And then I decided to get off the bed once again. And the next day, ate some pemmican, my delicious fallback food. Then I decided I'd better dig those graves as I was hauling steel. It makes more sense to get these people buried and then get the traps made rather than trying to work around all these dead bodies. I had to drop my berries in order to haul those dead people around, but Hamlet was happy to come, help me pick them up and put them away. So after burying those people, I ran back and forth. I had to treat myself once again while picking up some steel to rebuild traps. It seemed like a never-ending issue having to rebuild these traps. Maybe I'd figure out how to get some more defensive weapons set up. Keep these jerks away for good. Decided I needed more steel at that point, and there was no way around it. So I mined, then I ate, and then I cooked, and then I did some more mining. After that, it was time to hit the hay again. I'd had a good couple days. I was pretty frustrated with these people coming in, but at the minute, all felt secure.